All right, 12 bucks on the shelf. Let's scan these real quick, see if they're any good. Oh, these actually look great. So these are 50 bucks on Amazon. There's 3 of these on the shelf too. So we make 24 bucks on every sale here. Making 70 bucks buying this stuff right here. That sounds better than a couple hours at a job.
All right, y'all, this video is about to get crazy. There's always some great sales going on at your local Ross, so I had to go check mine out today, and I wanted to see what profitable items I could find to buy and flip in my Amazon store. So I'm going to take you guys along for the ride. I'll show you every item that I was looking at. Some of them were great, some of them not so good, and I'm going to show you all the data and break down exactly why, so that if you want to make your first $1,000 in profit selling products on Amazon, you'll know exactly how after this video is over. Using this exact method of selling name brand products that I buy in stores and online, I've sold over $5 million on Amazon since I started, so I'm super excited to get into this with you. But without further ado, let's go back downstairs to Ross and see what items we can find to sell on Amazon.
So as we're jumping into the store here, I like starting by looking at big name brand stuff. So I just looked at toys when I was going sourcing today, and I'm using the SellerAmp app, and I'll show you guys all the stats I'm looking at. You can see here the first item I was scanning in the shelf here was actually a profitable item. So let's go ahead and pull up the stats here on the right, and I'll quickly show you what I'm actually looking at on these items here. So on the SellerAmp app, I'm able to see the BSR, that's the best sellers rank. Typically, I like to stay in the top 200,000. That means it's in the top 200,000 best-selling products on Amazon. I can also see how fast it sells on SellerAmp, and then I can also plug in my cost. So in this first product I scanned, it was $5 on the shelf. On Amazon, the same thing is selling for $20. So I can see right here, I'm gonna make a $5.50 profit buying this item right here. Unfortunately, only one of them, but that's the basics of how this works. We're gonna scan all these products with SellerAmp. So as a comparison, I also want to show you an item that I found in this little section as well. You can see what it'll look like when it's not quite profitable. So this was a different toy here. This one was a slightly better BSR, so it sells a little bit faster, but buying it for $4, selling it for $17, I am able to make almost 70% ROI, but for me, I like to make at least $3 profit every time I buy an item. So it just wasn't quite interesting enough for me. I want to make it worth our time for us to go take this home and sticker it all up, ship it off to Amazon. And I'm going to show you how all the kind of the nitty gritty works. But let's keep diving in, and I'll show you some more fun stuff that I found as we're actually going through here. And we'll look at some examples of things that you want to avoid as a beginner. Some of these traps I definitely learned the hard and wasted some money on products. So if you're not sure what to scan, one of the best things to look for is these mega discount stickers right here. So this is a clearance on a clearance basically at Ross. So I scanned this with SellerAmp here. You can see I get pretty happy scanning this item in store here. So let's go ahead and jump into the data here, and we'll break down exactly what makes this item good. So starting out just by looking at kind of the bigger name brand stuff. So Batman obviously is a super popular franchise. This sells 200 times a month. It's going to sell for $60 on Amazon, and the price at Ross was 13 bucks. So we can make $17 profit flipping this item right here. Unfortunately, only one of those. Let's see what else we can find. Next up, I scanned these little toys right here. You guys saw me tease this at the beginning of the video. These are actually really good. These sold for $12, and let's go ahead and jump into the stats so I can show you in a little bit more detail how good this item was. So buying for $12, this item actually sells for $50 on Amazon, 50 sales a month, and we're gonna make $24 profit selling this item. So 200% ROI is definitely not typical, but here in this case, I'm really glad I was able to pick up 3 of these. Should make at least 70 bucks selling all 3 of these units here. Let's go ahead and keep jumping along and see what else we can find. Next up, I was scanning some of these Funko Pops here, and I wanted to show you this because it's a really good example of something that we want to avoid when it comes to selling these products on Amazon. Let's jump into the stats a little bit, and I'll show you why we want to avoid this. When I look at the stats, you can see how Amazon is all over the charts on this product. You can see basically that orange highlighting is showing me that Amazon is always selling it. And then we can also take that a step further, and this is why I like using the SellerAmp app, is I can see all the important data. So like the buy box analysis here. It's a little bit kind of high level. Let me show you what it means though, basically. So when we're digging into the buy box analysis right here, I can also see, we know on the charts tab, we saw Amazon was all over it. Sometimes we can actually compete with Amazon as a seller. This is a really good example of something that we cannot compete with Amazon. It's their marketplace, they make the rules. And so it's important to check the buy box statistics on SellerAmp. This is basically showing me who has made all of the sales over the last 90 days. And on this item, Amazon is the only person who's been making sales, even despite the fact that we can see that there is 21 sellers on this listing right now. Amazon is hogging all of the sales, so we have to avoid selling products like this. If you ever jump into a listing in Amazon on it, it's not the end all be all. You can still sell some of those products if you check the buy box analysis, and plenty of other small third-party sellers. So you can see on this one, this JMD Retail, they made one sale like 12 weeks ago, so really not too much opportunity for us to make sales on this. But continuing through the toy aisle here, I found another item that was pretty interesting. You see there's 2 of these on the shelf here, and let's dig into the data on these a little bit because these are pretty interesting. These I was actually able to pick up for 20 bucks. They sell on Amazon for 50 bucks right there. It does say that the estimated sales is about 11. The best sellers rank was 18K in toys though, so I was pretty confident I'd be able to pick this up. Usually, like I said, I like to stay under the 200,000 BSR range. So that's really solid in terms of BSR. And since the ROI was pretty good on these, I was super happy to pick these up. So we got two more of these. We can go ahead and add 25 bucks to our kind of mental running total of how much profit we're able to make here. And this also brings me on to the next important thing I want to talk about, and that's finding similar opportunities. When it comes to sourcing products, you're going to be able to find a lot of things that are pretty similar. So you can see here, I was able to actually go out and scan a different style of this Transformers toy. You can see it was like an Optimus Prime or something like that. Not exactly sure, but in this example, it wasn't quite that good. Looking at the data, you can see it did actually sell pretty fast. A lot of times I like to look at similar products because similar products tend to be, decently profitable. This one though sells for 28 on Amazon. So our max cost, that price that we need to pay for us to actually make money, was well below 20 bucks. You can see we needed to buy it for about $12. If we bought this, we'd lose 3 or 4 bucks a unit. And I'm not really in the business of losing money. Hopefully you aren't either. That's just a quick PSA. If you ever see like similar products when you're outsourcing, go ahead and scan those, because later in the video, we also found some very similar products that will end up being good. So I'm excited to show you those. And this retail arbitrage trip I'm on, where we're going to keep finding some profitable items, was also extra fun. And it's also something very important I want to share with you. And that's, you need to be able to talk with other Amazon sellers. You can see here I'm in store. I'm behind my friend Steven right here. He actually was able to scale his business buying and selling name brand stuff to over $1.6 million in a single 30-day period. So I just wanted to show you guys what's possible long-term with your Amazon business. I'm just hanging out with a couple of my Amazon seller friends. And the reason why making Amazon seller friends is so important is you're going to be able to share ideas. You're going to be able to help each other out as you're actually scaling the business. For me, I got stuck around 20 or 30K a month. And then as I started talking to my friends that I still talk to this day, I was finally able to hit those 6-figure months and really scale my Amazon business to the moon. My friend Steven's been selling on Amazon for a couple years now. Don't expect to be doing $1.6 million months anytime soon. I just wanted to show you guys what's possible buying and selling a lot of these name brand products. A lot of people think it's not super scalable. Let's go back to the store though and keep digging through what I was able to find. So next up, I always get excited when I see multiple units of something on the shelf. And in this example, there was definitely reason for me to be excited. There's 5 of these train sets on the shelf right here. I'm buying these for $6, selling them for 20. So it's not too bad being able to pick up 5 units there. Let's go ahead and see what else we can find. But it's also not just toys that are profitable on Amazon. I was able to find some dog treats in this case, random. See me getting excited about these, and it had that nice reduced price sticker. These are actually selling on Amazon for $21. In store, they were $3. Too bad I was only able to find 1 bag of them, but that's a really solid profit there. And it's just good in general to sell stuff that's in like pet supplies, that kind of stuff. People are always going to overpay and spend a lot of money on their pets and their kids. That's the rule of thumb. So if you're worried about things getting expensive or the economy, all that kind of stuff, always keep in mind that there's those niches where people are always going to pay a ton of money. And in today's example, toys and dog treats, that kind of thing, is stuff where people always love spending money. And as I was digging for some more stuff that wasn't toys, just so I can show you guys the example here, this one had that nice reduced price sticker for 49 cents. So I knew there was some good potential for us to make some money there. Miles definitely knew there was some potential. Let's dig into the data. You can see these actually sell on Amazon for 14 bucks, buying them for 49 cents. It's actually 1,000% ROI. I don't know if I've seen too many 1,000% ROIs out in the wild before, that this was definitely a cool find. I think there was only 1 of these on the shelf, but we'll definitely take a $5 profit on this. So I was also seeing a ton of these Pokemon sets out on the shelf, so I wanted to go ahead and check these out as well. Like we talked about, these big retail brands are always good to check out. These were 15 bucks. Buying this one for 15 bucks, we can actually sell this on Amazon for $34. So not as insane of an ROI as we've been seeing. There's 1 of these on the shelves right here, so we can go ahead and add about $6 in profit to our running total. And as I'm going through all this, keep in mind that I'm also including a 5% sales tax in my SellerAmp calculator, and I'm also including 60 cents per pound to ship these off to Amazon FBA. And once again, I'll show you guys how to actually take care of all the shipping and getting ungated in these brands as we're finding it, if you're worried about that. And going off of what we were talking about earlier, where you want to see similar items that might actually be nice and profitable. So earlier, those Transformers toys, only 1 of them was good. Here, I did find another one of these Pokemons here that was profitable. There was 2 of them on the shelf as well, which I always love to see. These were on sale for 10 bucks. And looking at the stats here, we can see that these actually sell on Amazon for $23. So we can make another $3.50 each on these. So we can go ahead and add $7 in profit to our running total there. So really not a bad trip to Ross here. All right, so we were able to have a very successful trip to Ross today, find some nice profitable items, but I want to show you the important step too of actually making the sales, getting those things shipped off to Amazon as fast as possible so that we can get those sales in our belt, go out and source more products as fast as possible, and actually have profit rolling in. So to start with that, we need to go ahead and start shipping products to Amazon FBA, and I'm going to show you guys the full guide on that, and we're going to talk about how to get ungated to sell these brands. So step one of getting these products listed on Amazon, we got to make sure we're actually ungated. If you don't know what that means, when you go ahead and start listing things on Amazon using Boxum, it will tell you whether or not you're ungated to sell those brands. If it tells you that you are gated in this brand, this is how you get around that. So when I go into Amazon Seller Central here, let's say I search for the Thomas and Friends item we found today, and I select the new condition. If it says sell this product, your account's already ungated to sell that brand. And Amazon just requires you to basically prove that you're buying legitimate inventory to actually get these things sold on Amazon. On the flip side, if I go look at a brand that I'm personally gated in, like DeWalt, it's going to say apply to sell right here. And what we're going to have to do is go through a quick application process to basically show Amazon that we're a legitimate retailer and we're not buying a bunch of fake stuff, right? We're going out to retail stores, we're buying stuff online, we're buying from distributors. And you can see these are the requirements that Amazon asks for on these items. If you're going out and doing retail arbitrage and you're looking for brands and you're not ungated in those brands, it's going to be hard for you to get ungated using retail arbitrage receipts like from Ross or something like that. What you'll really want to do is go ahead and buy anything. Let's say you want to sell the entire beauty category and Burt's Bees items. What you can do is just get an invoice from Target, Walmart, Kohl's, any major online retailer. The main reason why you have to do that is because it's going to have your personal information on it. You can just go in and say you want to sell Burt's Bees, filter from the lowest price. And you can see here we can buy basically 10 of these units following all the requirements that Amazon has here, where we got to buy 10 units. And we can get 10 of those for 31 bucks if we're doing some simple math there. And that's going to be able to get us ungated in the beauty category and selling Burt's Bees products if you're a brand new Amazon seller. That's how it works. So as we've been going out to the store today, and today we found like Thomas and Friends toys, that kind of thing. If you are gated in those, just look online, buy 10 of the cheapest toys you can find. You can always return it. Worst case, I wouldn't recommend returning a bunch of things just because it makes retailers not really like you. It makes a bad name for resellers in general. But what I'd really recommend is just sourcing for something that you can break even on, maybe make $1 or $2, kind of unlock that opportunity. It's more so about unlocking that future opportunity and unlocking lots of the profit you've been finding in store. But you'll just go ahead and take that invoice that you buy from Target, Walmart, wherever you end up getting it, drop it right here as a PDF. And then if you get any denials, it's normal. I have to submit multiple times even still for most of the brands that I want to sell. Just make sure you go ahead and keep submitting that invoice. Amazon will accept it at some point. And then once you're actually ungated or approved to sell that brand, once again, you're already going to be auto ungated in some brands when you first start selling too. So don't think you can't sell anything as a brand new Amazon seller, right? And plus you can always get ungated in most brands and categories. Once you have that taken care of though, that's where you'll want to start using Boxum. So Boxum is the tool that you'll want to have to track your profit, ship items to Amazon, basically the boring back-end tasks, but it makes it a lot simpler for you, makes it a lot faster, and you actually save money using Boxum as well. So I'm going to show you guys how that works. This is my like actual Amazon dashboard here. You can see some of the recent sales months we've been able to do here. But let's go ahead and quickly make a shipment of one of those items that we found today in store. Let's just go ahead and ship some of these Adopt Me toys, right? So step one, go to inventory, list FBA, and then go ahead and type that ASIN in there. You can grab the ASIN from the SellerAmp history. You could take the ASIN, you can click like the Google Sheets button on SellerAmp, whatever's simplest for you to store those products for later. You can also type UPC name, literally whatever's simplest for you. I like using the ASIN though. Go ahead and press new SKU right there. And basically we have to tell Amazon, hey, I've got some of these right here. As they're going through, it's a good idea to store your buy cost, your supplier. That's going to help Boxum show you some cool analytics later down the line. I'm going to punch Ross in as my supplier. I'm going to put today as my date purchased. And then you can see it makes a nice custom SKU down there. So I know where I bought it, what I paid for it, all that kind of stuff. If you have an expiration date on your item, you can add it there as well. We'll go ahead and add that listing and then just go ahead and press submit FBA listings. This can take 15 minutes or so. In this case, it was actually instant, which is pretty cool. I did one ahead of time just so we'd have something to be able to make a shipment on as well. You can see right here, we're able to make that item there. The reason why is Amazon just requires you to make the listing before you can actually ship those products off to Amazon. But once you do that, just go ahead and hit the create a shipment button on Boxum. Then we can go ahead and start filling out the ship from address, the shipment name, whatever you wanted to call it there. Go ahead and type the ready to ship date. This doesn't really matter for small parcel shipments where you're just shipping like 1 or 2 boxes at a time. It does matter if once you start shipping out whole pallets and that kind of stuff. Something that's really cool, and one of the reasons you want to use Boxum from the get-go, is these 2D barcodes right here. These are basically extra barcodes that go on the labels that we will create through the process here. And when those big boxes of items show up at Amazon, it makes it easier for Amazon to basically receive it, check the items in, and generally I make sales on my items a couple days faster on average. So you're beating other people to the listings. If there's competition, anything like that, you're going to be the most profitable because you're the fastest. So that's another reason why using Boxum is so important here. You can take advantage of the autofill pricing. So just list it above the buy box. Make sure you're not accidentally making sales cheaper than you need to. I really like using the auto print FN SKU. I'll show you how this works manually, but I just recommend throwing that on. And then you can store whatever you want in terms of buy cost, supplier, date purchased, all that good stuff. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and create a shipment. And then let's ship some of these products off to Amazon. Unfortunately, I'm not able to buy and ship in all the products we found together today, just because it shows a little bit too much personal information, all that good stuff. You guys can see like my actual Amazon dashboard. I'm actually doing this stuff. I just can't show you exact products because it just shows too much personal information. You guys know how the internet goes sometimes, right? But after we've got these listings actually created, just go ahead and search for that item that you already added under the list FBA flow. We'll go ahead and add these to our shipment right here. We found 3 of these in store today. So let's just say we want to go ahead and ship in 3 of those. I'm also going to go ahead and fill out that supplier, date purchased, all that good stuff. This is just going to be for the per shipment basis. So whenever trying to see those more detailed analytics, that's pretty helpful as well. This is fairly new if you have shipped items to Amazon before. You'll want to select the prep category. So if it is like fragile or it's liquid, that kind of thing, you just need to tell Amazon what it is. And then down here, you'll say that you are the prep owner unless you want to pay Amazon to prep the item for you. So if it requires like polybagging, stuff like that, you can pay Amazon for that. And then there's also the label owner. So if you want to pay Amazon, it's 55 cents per unit to put a label on each product for you. You can. It just slows down how fast you make sales, and it's pretty simple to actually list the product. So let's go ahead and add these to our shipment here. We would go ahead and repeat the exact same process for however many items we want to ship off to Amazon. Once you've got all the items you want to send in your shipment though, just go ahead and press continue. So we'd want to add all the other items that we actually found at Ross today. Like I said, I'm just showing you guys a quick example here. So we're going to go ahead and continue and then press submit products. Once we're on step 2, we're going to go ahead and prep and box our items. This is where we actually go ahead and print the FN SKU labels for our product. So it just looks like this. We go ahead and print out these labels. And for me, it's going to automatically print on my Rollo label printer that I have down below me. If this is sounding confusing, I have way more full detailed guides on shipping, by the way, as well. But it basically just prints out labels that look like this right here. We're going to take those labels and cover the UPC barcode of that original item that we're sending into Amazon. So for example, here's another item I found at Marshall's. You can see there's the UPC barcode. I just take that FN SKU and then I would put it directly over the original UPC. It's tricky to do it in reverse there, but you can see right there, cover that UPC barcode. Now Amazon basically, when I make the sale, they're going to scan that barcode and they're going to give me credit for making the sale, right? As we're also going through the process, you're going to want to go ahead and assign these items to boxes. So I like using the bulk assign feature. I can say, hey, I've got 3 of these units. I only needed 1 box for them. You can punch in all the dimensions and that kind of stuff, punch in all the weight. I'm just going to use an example weight here. Go ahead and save and print those labels. And that's going to go ahead and print out FBA box labels. I'll show you guys what those look like on our last step, but we just basically need to take those FBA box labels, put it on the outside of the box, whatever the dimensions of the box you're sending in right there, you already told Boxum, which is going to communicate with Amazon for you. It just makes it way simpler than having to deal with Amazon Seller Central. And it also just shows you what specifically needs to be done to each item. Sometimes it'll say, hey, this needs to be polybagged, or it'll explain any other kind of special prep that these items need. As you have more and more items, you can also just keep using the bulk assign feature. And if you enabled that auto print FN SKU like we were talking about, you don't have to go through the extra clicks of pressing that print label button. As you add it to the box, you can just pick up the item, auto print the labels, slap it on the item, put it down in the box. You'll find what works for you, but I like using the auto print label there. So now that we've got everything boxed up, let's go ahead and continue and then submit pack groups. On step 3, Boxum is going to show us 3 different ways that we can send this shipment off to Amazon. This is a really cool Boxum feature as well. So I can basically pick the cheapest shipping option between different placement options. That's a little bit complicated to get into the details if you're a new Amazon seller, but basically we can pay Amazon higher fees to ship to closer destinations or less destinations when you make really big shipments. So this is really helpful to basically just choose what the cheapest shipping option is. And this is something that is new that Boxum added for us as well. So that's pretty cool. You'll also notice that the shipping fee is decently high on this. Usually, like I was talking about earlier, I pay about 60 cents per pound. You'll want to fill your boxes to 50-pound boxes. Just because I was showing you a couple items here as an example, the per pound is really expensive. That's why when you're doing Amazon FBA, you just want to make sure you fill up that cart when you go out to Ross. Go to Ross or Marshall's a couple times to get close to 50 pounds worth of items. In this case, it's because I told it we had a really big box and it's really light. It's going to naturally tell me that this shipping's pretty expensive, but that's just the logic behind it. Typically, when you're going out and sourcing, you can just include that 60 cents per pound in your SellerAmp calculator. But in this case, I'm going to choose this one because it was the cheapest overall. So I can see all the different options. Let's go ahead and accept that. And then we'll be able to print all our labels on the last step here. And while we're waiting for step 3 to finish here, I'll also go ahead and remind you to go ahead and check out a 2-week free trial for Boxum down below. Basically the tool that you'll need to create shipments. So it looks like we're nice and done here, but you want to go ahead and get a 2-week free trial of Boxum so that you can create shipments, track your profit, all that good stuff. So the back end tool for your business. And especially if you have an Amazon seller account already, go ahead and activate it so you can start start syncing up your data and transfer your data from any of the other shipping tools that are slower, more expensive, don't have as many features, that kind of thing. But now that we're on the last step here, I'll just quickly show you. You can print your UPS and FBA box labels right here. That's going to print out labels that look like this right here. You can see this is that 2D barcode I was talking about, so you'll be able to make slightly faster sales on Amazon using Boxum with this. And then this is your UPS box label. So you just go ahead and print these out, slap them on the outside of the box, and then have UPS come pick them up or go drop them off at your local UPS store, whatever you want to do. Just be aware you can pay UPS to come pick them up. I didn't know that for way too long, and I was driving UPS all the time. PSA, you can pay UPS to come pick up your boxes through their website. That's pretty much it, right? You know how to source items, you know how to ship them off to Amazon, and there's no excuse for you to not be able to make your first $1,000 on Amazon as soon as possible. So let me know down below if you have any questions about starting your Amazon business. Super happy to chat with you guys down below. If you guys want to help me out for completely free, if you found this valuable, hit the subscribe button. Help me hit my dream of having that shiny 100K YouTube subscriber plaque somewhere back here. And then if you guys want even more free value to learn how to start an Amazon business, you can go ahead and click this video right here. You'll see how I can source a ton of products like the ones we found today, all sitting at home at the computer. But I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you again very soon.